The Ravens have still not reached a deal, an extension, to be honest with you, with Lamar Jackson. And the problem with that is free agency is right around the corner. So if they do not get a deal done within the next 4 to 5 days, they're going to be very, very strapped for cash in this free agency period, which will not allow them to go out and make a splash move like Eric DeCosta said he would make at that interview that we saw a couple of weeks ago. Speaking of that interview, here's what Steve Bisciotti said. If you guys remember about Lamar Jackson's contract situation, how soon he wanted to get it done, and if he couldn't get it done, what would have to happen?
I need to make sure that there's only one way. If he doesn't want to do an extension, then we throw those 74 million out into void years, and Lamar's coming back at the same cap number he was last year. You know, you can play with that money all you want. That's not what we want. You know, we want another window, and Lamar knows that. And I think that he's amenable to doing something that mirrors the last deal he did, although the annual number will be a little higher. But I'm hoping that it's plug a new number in the same contract he signed last year and move on. And the urgency of that matters to me because we've got free agents, and I don't want to go into free agency with that hanging over our head. And I made that clear to Lamar, and I think he was very appreciative of my stance, and hopefully willing to work with Eric and not get this thing dragged out into.
Yeah, so you heard it right there. Steve Bisciotti said that if they cannot get a deal done with Lamar Jackson before April or before free agency, preferably to him, they're probably going to have to just restructure Lamar Jackson's contract. Now, if you don't know what that means, basically what that means is they're going to tack on void years to the end of his deal. So basically kicking the can down the road so they don't have to pay all up front now, that 74 million, they can pay it all later. But what that does is kind of mortgage your future, right? I mean, you have to get things done. It kind of heightens the pressure to get things done quick, fast, and in a hurry, right? Because if Lamar Jackson comes back and plays for the same $34 million, or at least cap hit wise, right? Then that would allow you to get more, players for this year, right? But you are kind of, like I said, mortgaging your future. And so it's like it kind of puts more pressure on the Baltimore Ravens to get something done in this Super Bowl window, which would realistically only be about another 2 years or however so long Lamar Jackson has left on his contract. So we're going to talk about that and so much more here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Before we get into it, though, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Yes, yes, yes. So, like I said, we are back with another episode of Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. And we are once again live. We are once again live here during the week. Again, this is your number one stop shop for your Baltimore Ravens content. We also cover other sports on this channel as well, primarily mixed martial arts. Definitely going to be getting into some basketball stuff, NBA specifically, as the playoff approaches. And then we also have World Cup right around the corner, guys. And I'm sure we will be covering that here on this channel as well. If that sounds good to you, please be sure to leave a like on this video and also subscribe to our channel as well if you are a new listener. Shout out to all of the new listeners here. And shout out to the replay gang. Like I said, I'm live streaming right now. But if you're watching this after the fact, special shout out, special salute to you. Please be sure to leave a comment down below with all of your questions, comments, concerns, and put the hashtag replay gang. So, like I mentioned in this video, guys, we're going to talk about what is the real issue. What is the real problem, right? What is the real obstacle that is preventing the Ravens from getting a deal done with quarterback Lamar Jackson? That's been the big kind of like question, because you would think that the Ravens literally it's a no-brainer. We have to re-sign Lamar Jackson. He's not expendable in any way, shape, or form. We can't cut him. He has a no-trade clause, right? And if we don't extend him now, it's going to hurt us in the future. So you would think the Ravens are thinking, yeah, we need to get this done now, and we'll get it done by any means necessary, which makes sense, but that's not how business works. You see, it takes two to tango. And while the Ravens are fully on the dance floor right now, tangoing away, eyeing Lamar Jackson at the bar, like, hey, come over here and tango with us, right? Figuratively speaking, of course. Lamar's just sitting at the bar, like, I'm good over here. I got my two drinks here. You know what I'm saying? I got my friends around me. I'm good. I'm good right now. I'm chilling. I have no need, no desire to really go tango with you right now. And that's how Lamar Jackson is feeling. That is the hang up. As I see Chef Spicy Rice in the chat here says, I wonder what the hang up is. That's the hang up. Lamar Jackson does not feel the need to go out and get a deal done right now. Now, we have to unpack this a little bit because there's a couple of reasons for that. And the first reason that I want to talk about is the fact that he's been here before. He's been here before, right? And JD says in the chat, like, how do you know Lamar and them have been talking a lot? Yes, they have. They have. I think they've been flirting with a new deal. But again, because Lamar Jackson has prior experience, again, and here's where, JD, here's where I want you to listen up, man. I need you to read between the lines a little bit on some of this stuff and take what you already know based off of historical facts and use your critical thinking to apply it to what's happening right now, right before our eyes. And that goes for everybody listening. Because I think it's honestly staring us right in the face. Everybody thinks that is so much. Everyone thinks it's rocket science as to why Lamar Jackson and the Ravens cannot get a deal done. Even when Steve Bisciotti, the Ravens owner, multi-billion-dollar owner, just what I showed you in the clip just now, said that he wanted to get this deal done sooner rather than later, before April, preferably before free agency. So they don't have that looming over their head in free agency. The Ravens are the ones who are pressured to get the deal done now. Lamar Jackson does not have to get that deal done right now. Lamar Jackson has already dealt with this contract situation before. And let's start there. Let's talk about that really quick. Let's talk about that really, really quick. So back in 2023, when Lamar Jackson signed his deal, his second contract, right? Immediately before he signed his deal, the highest paid quarterback in the league annually was Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts was bringing in $51 million per year. When Lamar Jackson signed his deal, famously on draft day, Lamar Jackson signed a deal for an annual of $52 million, making him the highest paid quarterback of all time at that time, right? And Lamar Jackson was undoubtedly a top two, maybe not two quarterback also at that time. So with all that being said, you would think that, okay, Lamar Jackson's getting $52 million a year now. He's now the highest paid. Cool. Perfect, right? It went in natural succession. Jalen Hurts was making 51. Lamar settled for 52. The next quarterback to get paid after Lamar Jackson was Dak Prescott, who then made history. And he's still the leader right now in highest paid per year. Guys, Dak Prescott got $60 million per. And this is what, not even a year after Lamar Jackson signed his deal. So we went from Jalen Hurts, $51 million, Lamar Jackson, $52 million. Then right after Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, $60 million. And a bunch of guys after Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, not better than Lamar Jackson. Jordan Love, not better than Lamar Jackson. Trevor Lawrence, not better than Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen, you can debate it all you want. To me, as a Ravens fan, he's not, but you can debate it. All those guys got $55 million per. So you're seeing, or what Lamar Jackson had to sit back and watch after signing that $52 million per deal, is other guys' annual salary increase exponentially higher than what he did, what he increased over Jalen Hurts. Quick, fast, and in a hurry, that happened. And why did that happen? Because the salary cap keeps getting bigger year to year as the league grows and makes more money. So Lamar sat back and saw that and said, oh, okay. We went from me getting $52 million per year to Dak getting 60. Okay, noted. Next time around, when it's time for me to negotiate my next contract, I'm coming for it all, right? And I'll be damned if whoever signs right after me is making way more relative to, who I leapfrog when I sign my deal. Because guess what? If Lamar Jackson were to, and just walk with me here, guys, if Lamar Jackson were to sign his contract right now, you know, and say, I don't know, they gave Lamar Jackson 61 million dollars per. So that way he would be the highest paid quarterback. Just for next year, just for next season, let's say the Texans and CJ Stroud have a good year. CJ Stroud to go make 65 because the salary cap keeps going up and they'll be able to afford it. And the only reason Lamar Jackson can't exactly shatter that $60 million per year number right now, the only reason he cannot shatter that is because he's coming off of a bad year. Lamar Jackson threw for 21 touchdowns to 7 interceptions this year. That's a down year from Lamar Jackson standards. He also missed 4.5 games. So while the Ravens want to come to the table and tango with Lamar so bad, like, hey, let's get this deal done. It'd be great for us. Come on, Lamar Jackson. Let's do this. Lamar is sitting back like, I mean, I really don't have to right now. I really don't have to right now. Like I'm not hurting financially necessarily. I've already made a generational deal. I can make an extension to make it even sweeter, but I'd rather strike while the iron is hot. And if we're being honest, the iron is not as hot as it can possibly be right now for Lamar Jackson. So it doesn't make logical sense for him to rush anything, especially if the Ravens are going to come to the table and negotiate and try to play hardball while you missed 4 games, while we finish 8-9, while you threw 7 interceptions, had some fumbles. Also, remember, they're not saying these things through a buffer, aka an agent. They're saying these things directly to Lamar Jackson and his mother's face. So again, what reason? What reason would Lamar Jackson have, just logically speaking, to rush to get a deal done? Some of you use the argument, oh, but what about if Lamar Jackson gets hurt? Why would he risk, not re-upping right now instead of playing another year? Lamar Jackson is a winner. Let me tell you this. Lamar Jackson is a winner. Has been ever since he was a child, right? Lamar Jackson is a winner. And guess what winners don't do? They do not bank on failure. They do not bank on being set back. It reminds me of the Mamba mentality. You guys are familiar with Kobe Bryant. That's what it reminds me of. Like, he's not banking on going out there and getting hurt and not being able to get the bag. He's banking on going out there and throwing for 35 plus touchdowns with 5 or fewer interceptions, winning another MVP, and possibly even a Super Bowl. That's what he's banking on. And can you imagine how Lamar Jackson would have them bent over a barrel next season in extension talks if he goes out there and bounces back, which we all expect him to do, by the way. New head coach, he's going to have new pieces around him, better protection, presumably. We all expect Lamar Jackson to bounce back next year. So why don't you think he does either? I think he knows what he's about to go out there and do. He's got leverage right now, but he knows he could have more. And again, this knowledge comes from him already having his first rodeo with a contract extension and negotiating with the Ravens. This is my take. This is why I believe that the real issue is that Lamar Jackson just does not need to negotiate right now for a new deal. He doesn't need to. He can. It would help out the Ravens, but it doesn't hurt Lamar Jackson in any way. to just wait another year. That's what I think. He has all the leverage. He has all the leverage. That's true. That's true. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you are new here, this is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. My name is Sutton Def. We go live on here multiple times a week. This is Quiet Storm Sports. JD says, I think a deal gets done, but last minute. If not, they restructure and free up $38 million in cap space. I ain't tripping, and neither should we. This is true. This is true. And that's what I ran at the beginning of the video. At the beginning of the video, I ran exactly what Steve Bisciotti said, just in case anybody forgot. Because, yes, they can easily just go ahead and say, hey, look, we're gonna kick the can down the road, free up $38 million in cap space. So that way we have more breathing room right now. That's what they're probably gonna have to do. They're being forced to do that. They don't want to, right? They want to get a deal done with Lamar right now. But again, Lamar is not in Lamar's best interest to negotiate for a new deal right now. Like I said, strike when the iron is hottest. It's not the hottest right now. I mean, you got outlets like ESPN. I think it was ESPN. You guys remember that article that came out like right after the season ended of like ranking the top 10 quarterbacks? And I think they were basing it off of just last season. They had Lamar Jackson like 11th or something like that. Like fringe top 10 or not even top 10. And of course, you can take articles like that with a grain of salt, but that type of feeling around a player, it doesn't just resonate with the people who view those articles. Some of those same sentiments on why Lamar Jackson, to some people, is not a top 10 quarterback right now. As crazy as that sounds, like even if you're just basing it off of last season alone, some of those sentiments and some of those ideas, Eric DeCosta and company can bring up to Lamar Jackson in negotiations. Yeah, you did have a down year. We did go 8-9. So yeah, we want to get a deal done. We want to extend you, but we got to hold on to whatever card we have. Because again, Lamar Jackson has, if you have 10 cards, right? Lamar Jackson has 9 of the cards. The Ravens have 1. And they are holding on to that one card with their dear life. And again, that one card is, Lamar, you had a bad year. We had a bad year. You missed some time. That's the one card that the Ravens have to play in negotiations. Other than that, all they have to do is just fold. And in business, they're not going to want to, again, get bent over a barrel by Lamar Jackson, especially when they feel like they have a legitimate card to play as to why he should play ball more with them. I don't think I'm lying here, y'all. But again, let me see. Chef Spicy Rice in the chat says we can sign free agents with a restructure. Maybe Lamar wants the Ravens to prove they can support him while taking on all the risk, especially with how bad the roster/coaching was this year. Yeah, I mean, it's literally they have no option because you have to go out in free agency and fill some of these holes. You're not going to fill all the voids on the team through the draft. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to get some proven talent, whether that's at guard, whether that's at center, whether that's at DB, right? Whether that's at edge, D tackle, somewhere. You're going to have to go out and spend on a guy who's already been in the league for a few years. Now, again, with the restructure, that's totally possible, which is why they'll have to do it. But again, since Lamar Jackson doesn't have to get the deal done, since he has 9 out of the 10 cards, like I said before, he can hold out. But yeah, we can definitely sign free agents with a restructure for sure. Let me check out the live chat a little bit more here. Again, if you're watching after the live stream, leave your comments, questions, concerns down below. What do you guys think about that take, man? I mean, do you guys still think it's rocket science as to why the Ravens haven't gotten a deal done with Lamar Jackson yet? Or you guys kind of understanding what I'm saying here? Because I don't think it's rocket science at all. I don't. The Great One 74 says Flock Nation has FOMO, fear of missing out, so bad. The big swing should be getting that O line to top 10 and let 8 work, and then they can keep your boy Bates. LOL. Hey, yeah, I tweeted about Bateman earlier today. Hey, man, I do think that Rashad Bateman, just really quick, I do think that Rashad Bateman is primed and poised to have a bounce back year under Declan Doyle. Declan Doyle, as sharp as he is, he's not going to look at a Rashad Bateman and be like, oh, yeah, we can't do anything with that guy. I mean, he's 6 feet plus. He can run routes with the best of them. He's got hands. If you get him in a rhythm, he's a chain mover. Why haven't you guys unlocked this dude yet? I'm going to unlock this dude, right? It's like some of those house hunters who the people who like to flip houses and whatnot. They come across a house that's a little bit run down, cosmetically and stuff like that, but it's got really strong bones to it. And they're like, you know what? I'm gonna flip this house and turn it into something that everybody loves. That's what Declan Doyle is gonna do for Rashad Bateman. I truly do believe that. Um, yeah, but the big swing should be getting the O line to top 10. And I think largely what that looks like is drafting Ione, Vega Ione, if he is there at number 14. But also going out and getting a center because obviously Tyler Linderbaum, who's also in the thumbnail of this video, he is pretty much all but gone. The Ravens did not put the franchise tag on him yesterday, and that was as expected. I mean, you kind of knew they weren't going to franchise tag him when they did not, pick up his 5th-year option because the 5th-year option price was very, very similar to the franchise tag price as well. So that kind of had the writing on the wall from get go there. And with Linderbaum leaving again, like in free agency, we're gonna have to address that in some way, shape, or form. Whether that be, I don't know, Tyler Biadish or you know, like a Connor McGovern or somebody out there who's gonna hit those free agent streets, or somebody maybe through trade. You never know. In some way, somehow, the Ravens need to shore up the interior of that O line. I think outside Stanley and Rosengarten, they're gonna rock out with them. Rosengarten, I have a little bit of worry about. Stanley, I do as well, only because of the injury history. It seemed like in some games, he's in the game and then he's out the game, and he's in the game, he's out. But I do think that we have a little bit more stability on the outsides of that O line as opposed to the interior. So yes, interior should be a huge focus, and not only the free agency, but the draft as well. Interior O line. I agree. Listen, guys, about 100 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. Again, my name is Sutton Def. This is Quiet Storm Sports, a Baltimore Ravens podcast on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Shout out to y'all. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I know you guys are hating on Bateman, but that's okay. Heather, what's up? What's up, Heather? I see Tanja in the house as well. Let me see. Tanja says, they said the Ravens can have a clause in the contract so they can adjust the contract. So we will just see what happens. Lamar signed his last deal draft night. Yeah, I mean, it could be a last minute thing. I think, again, the Ravens want to get this deal done before free agency period ends or starts, really. But let me see. But no, yeah, the Ravens, they can go ahead and they can restructure Lamar's contract without his permission. They don't need his permission to do that. And Lamar knows that too. So he's basically just saying like, I mean, I'd love to do an extension with you guys, but the number I want, you guys won't be willing to pay me right now because I just came off of a down year. So I'm just gonna wait. You guys can restructure me. That's gonna hurt you guys in the future. But again, Lamar is a much better businessman than I think a lot of people give him credit for. A much better businessman. Let me see. ISO, my guy ISO in the chat, asking a good question here. Why pay Lindy league setting money when he had a down year two? I don't think the Ravens going to do all that, but I definitely can be wrong. Yeah, I think the Linderbaum that's snipped. That relationship is snipped, and it's been snipped. Mainly because Eric DaCosta got up there combine week and basically told the world that they were offering Tyler Linderbaum 18.5 million a year, which is market resetting money. But obviously or reportedly, Tyler Linderbaum's agent believes that he should be making a lot more than that, somewhere in the 22 to $25 million range. And the Ravens basically just said, that's too rich for our blood. And they backed out. And I think that Eric DaCosta verbally expressing to the world how much they were willing to pay him, that's them backing out. That's them backing out. So center is definitely going to be a need. Definitely going to be a need. All right, all right. Let me see. Marcel in the chat here. What's going on, Marcel? Says if Jackson cared about the team and wanted them to bring in more talent, he would have signed an extension already. Well, see, here's the thing. The Ravens had 5 years, bro, of cheap Lamar Jackson to surround him with talent. But they kept going cheap everywhere except for the defense, right? They had years to get him number one wide receivers. It took them too long to get him a Derrick Henry, right? Trying to consolidate what Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins were doing as a duo. We should have did that way earlier. The Ravens stuck by guys a little bit too long. Mark Ingram. Again, bringing in veteran wide receivers. Old and I hate to say it like this, but decrepit guys. Like, come on now. Guys were on their last leg. Odell Beckham Jr., literally. Deshaun Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Dez Bryant. They weren't getting him anybody when he was on the cheap. So it's like, why should he give him a deal now? Why would I give you a discount now? Right? When I, was cheap myself, you weren't willing to surround me with the pieces that I needed. So I just don't, I disagree there, Lamar. I know Lamar cares about his team, but at the end of the day, these NFL teams will show you that they're going to look out for themselves first. And in business, it's a dog eat dog world. So like I said, guys, you got to start giving Lamar Jackson a little bit more credit than you do as a businessman. May not have the best investments, and we don't know everything that he's invested in, but there certainly have been some questionable ones over the years. But when it comes to negotiating this contract, man, I think he's only getting better. Again, I think he saw what happened after the first time he signed the deal. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, he signed the deal right after Jalen Hurts was making 51 million. Lamar signed for 52 million a year, and then right after that, Dak Prescott signed for 60 million a year. And then the cap went up again after that, and Lamar Jackson said, "Oh, okay." And now I've got the likes of Justin Herbert making more money than me per year. Nah, next time I need a much bigger extension. I need something that's not only going to be market resetting, but I need you to put the cookies high up on the shelf this time. I need you to make it hard to reach. That's what Lamar is going to say this go around. And the Ravens right now, they're not willing to match him there. They're not willing to meet him there. And I get it. The one card that they have, and they're holding it close to their chest because Lamar has all the cards. The one card they have, hey, Lamar, you had a down year. You missed some games. You missed time. So we don't want to put the cookie jar too high up on the shelf for you. Right? Will you work with us? Lamar's like, I'm good. I'm good then. If you're not going to give me whatever I want, I'm good right now. I'll go out, bet on myself again, like I've been doing. Right? I'll bet on myself again. I'll win again. I'll prove to you why I'm worth a blank check again. And then we can talk. That's where he's at. And I think he has every right to be there mentally. So like he says here, Lamar has all the rights to be patient. Jaquan says in the chat, bro, mad Lamar won't sign. I'm not mad. You must be new here. You must be new here. I'm not mad, but I'm passionate about my Ravens, man. Passionate. Let me see. D Hop this year, yeah. Talking about the wash receivers. Yep. What up, Zeke? I see you. But yeah, guys, let's go ahead and transition here. What else did I want to bring up to y'all here? Let me see. Let's go over here. 130 people watching. Thank y'all so much for coming out to this episode of Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Please be sure to like this video. Please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. I'd appreciate that. I'd appreciate that. There we go. Be sure to like this video, y'all. I want to get into this. I want to get into this really quick. So, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was released by the Arizona Cardinals. Can y'all believe that? Kyler Murray was released by the Arizona Cardinals. And it kind of took me back to a time where an analyst had a few things to say about Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. Here is Ryan Clark a couple of years ago talking about how he'll take Kyler Murray over Lamar Jackson if he wants to win a Super Bowl.
If Kyler Murray right now was the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, we'd have much more confidence in them to win the Super Bowl. Period. We would. It wouldn't be a discussion. We wouldn't be sitting here talking like, you know what? Yeah, they can because the quarterback's really good, because the team's really good, and everybody loves the color purple. It looks good on uniforms. He wouldn't have said all that. He would have been like, if Kyler Murray's the quarterback of this team, I see them in the AFC Championship going toe-to-toe, head-to-head with the Kansas City Chiefs because he does add that extra dimension. And this is not knocking Lamar Jackson at all. Sometimes you got to choose between Kobe and Shaq or Penny and Shaq.
You know what?
Sometimes you got to choose.
Real quick, this is hilarious to me. This is hilarious to me because when you look at this take, and the reason why I'm bringing this back up to you, and I know this was a while ago, right? But the reason why I'm bringing this back up to you is because we have to start realizing what's going on these big sports, national sports media shows, right? We have to realize what's going on here. Look at the conviction or lack thereof in Ryan Clark while he's giving this take here. Just pay
Have
attention.
much more confidence in them to win the Super Bowl. Period. We would.
I mean, he had no bass in his voice on that period. No bass at all. You can tell he doesn't even believe half the things he's saying. Watch how he is like looking around the screen, looking down and whatnot. No bass in his voice. Shoulders a little tense. He don't even believe what he's saying here. So I want to tip my cap to somebody real specific in just a second, but let me show you guys what I'm talking about.
It wouldn't be a discussion. We wouldn't be sitting here talking like, you know what? Yeah, they can because the quarterback's really good, because the team's really good, and everybody loves the color purple. It looks good on uniforms. He wouldn't have said all that. He would have been like, if Kyler Murray's the quarterback of this team, I see them in the AFC Championship going.
Like he can barely like stop himself from smiling while giving this take. So really quick, what I want to do, I want to look up. Who are the producers. Who are the producers of Get Up on ESPN? Let's look that up. Let's see. Who are the producers of ESPN Get Up? I want to know this because we got to tip our cap. So we got Bill Wolf, Vice President, Studio Production, Peter McConneville, currently oversees Get Up, Eric Galbraith, the coordinating producer, so is Drew Gallagher, Paul Himbo. Okay. Let me see. I don't know. I want to know who writes this, who scripts this. Because Bill Wolf, we got to give a shout out to him. Got to give a shout out. Who scripts the show? That's what I want to know, Google. Let me know. Let's see. Mike Greenberg. Let me see. Not trying to tell me. They're hiding. Chat. I don't believe them. They're liars. But we do have to give a shout out. To Bill Wolf for producing this show. This is high level production right here. That's all it is. High level production. You can't even be mad at it. Ryan Clark didn't even believe half the shit that he was saying when he said that. And this kind of goes back to how Lamar Jackson throughout his career has bet on himself time and time again and proved all of the naysayers wrong. And this is just yet another example. Now, I understand Lamar doesn't have a Super Bowl in his own right yet. He doesn't have a Super Bowl yet. But damn it, he's been way closer than a Kyler Murray, right? And been way more consistent than a Kyler Murray. And the likes of Ryan Clark and Dan Orlovsky. Dano, you're not off the hook either. Because you was talking that good shit too. You know, about Kyler Murray being the easy pick over Lamar. Now I need to know where y'all stand on this. I need to know where dudes like that stand on issues and matters like this in 2026. I do. Kyler Murray been released by the Cardinals, and they still owe him $36 million. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Get out of here. They won't admit it's scripted. I don't believe them though. It's all scripted material. That's how they get the clicks every day. That's how they get the engagement. That's how they get the engagement. But we're here to call out the bullshit. That's what we do here. Quiet Storm. We wake it up. But okay, I don't want to spend too much time on that. Let's move on here. So this news came out today, right? Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely was on the Up and Adams show with one Kay Adams, and he talked about the Ravens a little bit. He talked about how he has not spoken with Ravens head coach Jesse Minter. He also has not shared words with Ravens offensive coordinator Declan Doyle. Now, to me, this basically says that he's out of there. Because Declan Doyle has been public about saying, he's talked to a few of the players and things like that. And if you know Isaiah Likely's role on this team and how good of a playmaker he is, then I would assume you'd want to get a word with him, sooner rather than later. But here's what Isaiah Likely had to say about maybe potentially coming back to Baltimore. Is that door still open to the Ravens?
Is the door open to staying in Baltimore?
I mean, the door is, I tell everybody, the door is always open for Baltimore only because that's family. I mean, they took a chance on me on all 31 pass. And I tell them that to the fans, to the organization, to my teammates. But at the end of the day, I told everybody, every moment I get, business is business. I mean, it's just, I got to do right by me, right by my family, and right by, what I feel like I could do in this league. And I feel like, I've shown enough ability to be able to help out any quarterback, any situation, to be able to put points on the board.
And he has. He absolutely has. So I have zero issue. Let me preface what I'm about to say by saying this. I have zero issue with what Isaiah Likely is saying here. He has proven time and time again that he can be a number one option for a quarterback, a security blanket for a quarterback. I say this all the time on this channel, but if you're new, listen up. Do you remember all of the times where the Ravens had entire drives where Lamar Jackson was continuously targeting Isaiah Likely because he had the hot hand? He was going up and catching everything. Lamar Jackson was told by Isaiah Likely in practice, and this came from a John Gruden interview. Likely told Lamar, he said, "Hey, look, if you ever throw the ball my way, I will make sure either I catch it or nobody catches it." And instilling that type of trust in Lamar Jackson is what made that connection so special. And we see it time and time again. Literally, the end of both seasons. Of course, the Bills lost in the divisional round a couple years ago. That ended because of the Mark Andrews drop and the 2-point conversion, all that. This past year, the Tyler Luton field goal. Just both of those years, look at the play right before those season sealing plays. It was Isaiah Likely making a big play. Isaiah Likely scoring that deep ball touchdown from Lamar Jackson in the snow in Buffalo to give the Ravens a chance to tie that game. It was a deep ball from Lamar Jackson to Isaiah Likely on 4th and 7 or 4th and 8 to Isaiah Likely to keep the season's hopes alive. Likely comes down with it. Then the next play, Luke misses the kick. So Isaiah Likely has absolutely proven that he can be the guy. And I wholeheartedly believe he's going to go somewhere else and he's going to get a bag and a big one too. And boy, does he deserve it. Now, the word on the street was that, okay, why did the Ravens not do their due diligence and try to re-sign Likely? Well, apparently they did. And I'm going to read a quote here from Jeff Zarebeck. Shout out to him. Jeff Zarebeck says, yeah, Likely was the priority. They tried to re-sign him on multiple occasions. When it was clear there was a gap, they started working on Andrews, whose deal was always going to be more team-friendly than what they'd be able to do with Likely. So, basically, Isaiah Likely knew his worth, even going into last season. And as you guys know, I mean, we thought that they were going to get a deal done all the way up until, you guys remember Isaiah Likely hurt his foot, right? I think it was his foot. Yeah, it was. And he was out for a hot second. He didn't start the year, you know. Um, and so ever since then, it just kind of seemed like, and then when he got back, it wasn't really like, I guess he was still kind of trying to get to 100% because of the foot and stuff like that. So he lost a lot of time and momentum that he could have gained this season to really put himself in a position to command the amount of money that he wanted, you know. But he got hurt. He came back. It was kind of had a ramping up period. And by that time, they're like, all right, we've tried multiple times to get a deal done with you. We're going to go back to old reliable Mark Andrews and see if he's willing to, do a little extension here, 3 years for, I think it was 30 million, something like that. And they ended up getting that done. So now that they have resources tied up with Mark Andrews for the next couple of seasons, it makes no sense. It makes no sense to bring back Likely. He's going to be a cap casualty. He's gone. He's gone. Likely already rejected their deal. Yeah, he did. And I think he had the right to do so. I don't know exactly what they offered him, of course. I don't know the numbers. I'm not in these rooms, guys, but it's quite clear and quite obvious that, like Jeff Zarebeck said there, I mean, they were far apart. They were far apart. But it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate because we damn sure could have used Mark Andrews. I mean, not Mark Andrews, but Isaiah Likely going forward, and not Mark Andrews. But that's what the Ravens do. Like I said before, we hold on guys a little bit too long till the wheels fall off. So I hope Mark Andrews is worth it this year. That's all I know. That's all I know. All right, let's move on here. We're getting right along through this episode. Let me see, what else do we got? Let's go here. Let's see. So today, news also came out from the AFC East, to be specific. You have Stefon Diggs getting released by the New England Patriots here. And as you guys can see, the details of this transaction, the Patriots will save $16.8 million in salary cap space by releasing Stefon Diggs. He had 85 catches, over 1,000 yards at 10-13 exactly, and 4 touchdowns in his 1 year with the New England Patriots. And now the Patriots will be in on the wide receiver market again. So I know what you might be thinking. Well, son, what does this have to do with the Ravens? Well, I believe that now more than ever, if I could hammer, maybe I'll go on like Kalshi or one of these sports prediction markets. If I could hammer some money down on AJ Brown being a New England Patriot at the start of next season, I would totally do that. Matter of fact, I'd bet the house on it. Because now the New England Patriots, who just lost the Super Bowl, knowing that they had a lack of talent on the outside, they just lost one of their best receivers, if not their best receiver. You can make arguments about some of the other guys, Kayshon Boutte, Matt Collins, but Stefon Diggs was supposed to be their guy. He was supposed to be their guy. So now that he's gone, like Ari Myrov says here, they're going to be right back in the market to make another splash for a big time receiver. They're not going to get in the draft. Just played in the Super Bowl. I don't think that the Patriots have 2 draft picks. Let me look up really quick. Patriots draft picks. Let me look up really quick because I don't think that they have more than one. Patriots draft picks. Let me see. Yep. Nope. They have the 31st pick. So they're not going to get one of the high end top receivers in the draft. Unless they get somebody, who's like a hidden gem, somebody who falls, whatever. So I think that they will sell out to go get AJ Brown. And to only make matters worse on this, AJ Brown was formerly coached by the Patriots head coach, Mike Vrabel. So I know Mike Vrabel knows in his heart of hearts, like, hey, look, I can deal with an AJ Brown. Dealt with him before. It's no problem. And I'm sure AJ Brown is like, yeah, I'm familiar with Mike Vrabel. I'd be cool to go there. They were just in the Super Bowl. They're missing somebody like me who I can bring my dominance as a wide receiver and really make an impact, really make a difference on this team. That's what they're thinking. And so if you are a Ravens fan and you are, expecting an AJ Brown to maybe be pursued by our Ravens, think again. It's not happening. So, but let me see what you guys are thinking, what you guys are saying about Stefon Diggs. Should the Ravens go out and pursue him? Should the Ravens go out and pursue Stefon Diggs? Oh, some of you guys are saying, yeah, I'm good. Me personally, I'm all set on Stefon Diggs. I mean, you get an aging receiver who doesn't quite fill the need that the Ravens have right now. The Ravens need a bigger bodied wide receiver who can go out there and his game can travel to January. That's why I was a big supporter of going out and getting an AJ Brown, right? A couple years ago, going out and getting like a DK Metcalf. Somebody like that whose game will travel to January. I don't think Stefon Diggs' game really travels to January like that. Did not have a very good playoffs at all, right? So for whatever he would be demanding, plus the drama you get off field, I don't think it would be worth it. I don't think he's the right scheme fit. I don't think he's the right culture fit. And numbers wise, I don't think it would make sense right now. I don't. Tanja says, no, he is not all that. And he has court issues going on. We're getting desperate now. Yeah, I'm off that too, Tanja. I'm off that. ISO says he would pick him up if the number is right. Nah, man. I think I'm all set on that. The man says, stop downplaying us getting Brown. Sudden it can happen. I will make it happen. Man, that ain't happening, brother. That ain't happening. I mean, this is just setting up the play right here, for the Patriots to go out and get AJ Brown. That's what I believe. But okay, what else did I have here on this episode of the show? Let me see. By the way, shout out to everybody who came through the Sudden Reactions this morning. Had a great time there. Make sure you tune into that show as well. Goes live on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Sudden Reactions YouTube channel, where we react to everything outside of the sports world and some things within it as well. But here's the last thing I want to cover. I think this is the last thing at least. So the Chiefs, this was breaking news this morning. The Chiefs are trading all-pro cornerback Trent McDuffie to the Rams for a first-round pick and more. This per Adam Schefter here. Let me actually pull up the actual full trade package because they had the full amount of picks and everything in here. I want to look that up. Let's look that up, guys, because they offered a lot. They offered a haul to get Trent McDuffie. The Rams did. And I honestly felt like the Rams got fleeced a little bit. I do. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we go right here. The Chiefs are expected to trade cornerback Trent McDuffie to the Rams in exchange for the Rams' first-round pick, number 29, their fifth-round pick, sixth-round pick, and 2027 third-round pick. So that is a lot of draft capital. Even if we're just looking at the first-round pick this year, and then the third-round pick next year, that is still insane. And I get it. Trent McDuffie is a hell of a corner. Hell of a corner. But if I'm the Rams, this was a miss. This was a miss. I think you could have gotten a guy in the draft with the current draft picks that you already had that can fulfill this need for much cheaper, you know. But if you're the Chiefs, this is a W. This is a massive W here. I mean, now you have 2 first-round picks if you're the Chiefs. You have pick number 29, and I believe they also have pick number, let me see. They've got a top 10 pick. They've got a top 10 pick. Draft picks 2026. Yeah, they have number 9. They have number 9 and number 29. And what I would assume is they're going to go ahead and they're going to fix up that offensive line, which honestly might put Ione in trouble, right? Since the Chiefs are picking 9, I could see them doing a full overhaul. They just got rid of Jawan Taylor as well. One of those 2 picks in the first round is going to be an offensive lineman. The other pick might be a running back. I wouldn't hate that for the Chiefs as well. The Chiefs do need to get back to having a dominant run game. They do. So, but I thought that the Chiefs came out on the better side of this deal here. The Rams just simply getting Trent McDuffie, I don't feel like it was enough to justify sending, again, a first rounder and a third rounder plus a fifth and a sixth this year. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it, guys. I don't. All right. I think that was about it for this episode of the show. Again, appreciate y'all for coming through. I think that was all I had to cover. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was all I had to cover for this one. But yeah, thank y'all so much for coming through to this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. I think my camera might be frozen. That's okay. We're wrapping up anyway. But thank you guys again so much for coming through. We had 151 people watching live right now. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to our channel as well if you are new and you enjoyed the content. We appreciate that. Part of the replay gang, leave your comments, questions, concerns all down below. Again, my name is Sudden Death. This has been Quiet Storm Sports. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.